Have you ever felt there was a time when you couldn't express yourself? Let's back up. I'm here in the Brew headquarters to speak to Dan Mace. But first, let's talk about history. In the 1960s, during the height of the Cold War, the world was engaged in two races. The arms race, the idea being who could outbuild the world's biggest bomb, and the space race, who could get further away from Earth and space and who could ultimately land on the moon. Both of these races allowed us to see for the first time that we were all alone in the universe. We were vulnerable and naked to the cosmos, and we were all one. Then the internet was invented and we became connected in more ways than we ever thought was possible. We started to record every aspect of our lives, our dreams, fantasies and realities for everyone to see. But we all edit these online avatars of ourselves. But now to my point. This connection has allowed me to make a film with Dan Mace from the other side of the world. See, I'm not actually in the Brew headquarters. I'm in Florida and Dan's in South Africa. So we set up a Skype call.
Hello?
What's up, Brew?
Cool, I'm rolling and ready. Clap, bang, let's go. You know, we live in a world that showcases that we need to be happy and we need to showcase ourselves living our best lives. These filtered perfection versions of ourselves. And through that, makes it extremely difficult to showcase vulnerability. When it comes to things like mental health, I think that there's a lot of shame attached. You know, anxiety and depression create shamefulness. Nobody wants to be the person in the room that's drawing some sort of a negative feel around them. The very first time I ever got struck with depression was about 3 years ago. And I had no idea what it really was. I just felt completely useless. I couldn't write. I had absolutely no self-esteem. I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. I just thought, like, what is the actual point of doing any of this, really? And then I was lucky enough to be open and speak to someone about it and understand that I actually have this condition called depression, you know, and it happens. You know, there's a large portion of people in the world that struggle with this, and then through that I started realizing maybe there's a vulnerability attached to this that I can use film to kind of lift myself out of, to transcend through like the burdens of my conscious mind. For me, that's where everything changed. It changed in my work, it changed in my lifestyle and my approach to everything, and ideas came so easy because all I would need to think is, what is making me feel fucking vulnerable right now? And I would take that vulnerability, I would write it into a script, and I would create a film, because that's the most true, raw, honest version of myself, and I can really, I don't have to think and try and come up with an ending, because I'm experiencing it all. There's this way of being able to experience emotions that nobody else can feel. And if you can do that, as shitty as it all feels, and you can like turn it on its head and say like, I got you, I understand this, and then turn that into an art form, it's the most beautiful form of real, honest art that one can create. I'm really drawn to people that have completely different outlooks in life. I think that it's awesome to be different. And I think that the only people that have the willingness and the ability to challenge the current system are those that don't abide by a certain way of thinking, and those are the people that have gone through certain levels of an inner struggle, let it be mental health or some sort of baggage that one carries, in order to give you a different form of an outlook on the world. And I think that if you gain the ability to be able to rise through that, your input into the world will be invaluable. You know, I love to create and watch something grow from a piece of paper into the motion picture. And I'm in a space where I wouldn't choose to be doing anything else. I could get any offer, and I would say I want to stay here at least for another year, doing what I'm doing right now.
In this world of more connection and instant gratification, we sometimes feel lost. The negative comments and feedback can get to us, and we often don't know who we really are. I find for me, writing things out sometimes gets a clearer perspective of what you are not. And if you don't know the important questions to ask yourself, try going to a website called selfauthoring.com that gives you the prompting questions to chip away and find out who you really are. This is in no way a paid advertisement, I just find it really works for me. Subscribe for next week to see the next film of...
And I challenge Pasha Light to make the next video with Gary.